Hey guys, just the plant doctor here. Hopefully you can hear me over the cicadas up in the trees up here. I decided to do the video late this evening because it was rather hot, but the cicadas have decided to do their thing, so it's that time of year. But this is our September what to do in the garden update. I'm just giving you some examples of what you need to be doing in your garden in order to be successful in the month of September. And we'll start with, I always like to start with annuals and then perennials. Annuals, let's talk about annuals for a minute. Summer annuals are starting to enter into a decline. That's perfectly normal this time of year. If your petunias and your salvia and your marigolds and vinca are not looking like they did 2 or 3 months ago, that's okay. So what I'm going to be doing in my garden, I'm no longer fertilizing those plants because they're on the decline anyway. And as they fizzle out, I'm going to begin to remove them from the garden. Eventually I'll have all the beds where they are just going to be topsoil and potting mix. My baskets, there'll be nothing but potting mix in the baskets. And they'll stay that way for a couple weeks. I'm going to pull those. It's still too hot to put in the fall color. Our pansies, our snapdragons, our ornamental cabbage, stuff like that. I don't like to put that stuff in until about mid-October because we have about a 3 or 4 week period here in North Alabama, into Georgia, up into the Carolinas, and over into Mississippi, so the zone 7B, 8A region, if you will, where it's our summer annuals are dying out, they're fading away. However, it's still too hot to put in those fall annuals. I'm going to put those fall annuals in about mid-October, so about October 15th, a week or two before Halloween. So we'll run out and grab some pansies. We'll grab some pumpkins to put around the house, and we'll be ready for the fall season in that regard. On the perennials, I'm going to start deadheading some things. I'm going to start deadheading Shasta daisies. I'm going to start deadheading Rudbeckias, so black-eyed Susans. I'm going to start deadheading those. I'm leaving the echinaceas up. I'm going to leave my echinaceas up because the golden finches have been feeding on those. I've got a family of, it's like 6 or 8 of them. There's a lot of them that we have this year, and they live in some trees here behind us. I can hear them in the trees, and they'll fly down and they'll eat those seeds and they'll fly back up. So we're not fertilizing those as well. The last thing you want to do in the month of September on a lot of shrubs and flowers is to fertilize. We don't want to promote a lot of new growth, and we want what growth has come out to start hardening off for winter. So we've backed off the fertilizer regimens there on a lot of stuff. Shrubs, let's talk about shrubs for a minute. So on my shrubs, like I said, no fertilizer, and basically all I'm doing is scouting for insects. For example, on the azaleas, I am looking for azalea lacewings and aphids, and I've been fortunate so far this year. I haven't found any, but here for about another 3 or 4 weeks, I'll keep an eye on it. You definitely don't want to start pruning anything that's going to flower in the fall. So tea olives, I have a row of tea olives that go down the side of the house, and they're so fragrant in the fall. But if you prune those right now, you're not going to have any flowers. The same holds true for our early blooming spring shrubs, so things like forsythia, azaleas, rhododendrons. We do not want to be pruning those right now. So really in the month of September, if I'm going to prune anything, I may go in with some hand shears and just cut off a wild hair here or there of something that needs to be done, but we're not going to be shearing anything in the garden in the month of September. There's just too much that can go wrong. Even things like camellias. I've got some Camellia sasanquas and Camellia japonicas in the garden, and I'm already starting to see some buds on those. So we're not going to touch any shrubs here in terms of pruning. We're not going to fertilize any shrubs. Turf, same thing. Don't fertilize your turf right now. What I'm doing, I'm starting to lower that mower blade back down a little bit. So I've slowly over the summer, I've been inching it up, maybe a 1/4 inch at a time. And I got up to about 2.5 inches. Here on this last mow, I bumped it back down to 2 1/4. I'll go to 2. I may go below 2. I don't know. But we did that in the summer to help preserve water in the soil layer, create a little shade on top of the soil. But here in October, I'm going to put down a good dose of pre-emergence on the turf. And I want that pre-emergent to be able to get into the topsoil. So we're not fighting those winter weeds. We're not fighting poana. We're not fighting henbit. We're not fighting chickweed. And that's going to help with that as we progress into the winter months. If I go ahead and lower that mower deck a little bit, when I put my pre-emergence down in October, it'll help those pre-emergents get down into the soil layer a little bit better. One thing that's really showing out in the garden right now is ornamental grasses. And that's the great thing about using grasses, ornamental grasses in your landscape, is when we get to this time of year, a lot of things are fading out. So your annuals are fading out, your perennials, they're on the tail end of what they do for us throughout the garden. And the grasses really come on. I really like how my grasses look right now. So maiden grass is just now starting to plume out, but the zebra grass is in full glory. And so when the wind blows, you have this nice plumage that kind of goes back and forth with the wind, and it's a nice ornamental feature. Also with zebra grass, you get the variegated leaf blades as well. You get the green and the white variegation in the leaves. I'm starting to do a little bit of leaf cleanup, and one thing I do with my leaves, with the leaf cleanup, is I'll actually start to incorporate those into my flower beds. It makes great mulch. So after all the leaves come down here this winter, sometime after Thanksgiving, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, what I'll be doing is I'll be putting out pine straw. But what I like to do is put the leaves in on the beds first and then cover it up and make it look nice and neat with the pine straw, and it just sets the stage for spring. So any leaves that are going to be falling right now, I'm going to be getting those up. I've got a couple different ways I do that, with a rake or with the lawnmower or whatever, and I'll be putting that into my flower beds, in particular around azaleas and camellias and things like that. They do really well with the compost. Folks, thanks for watching The Plant Doctor. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We just got monetized like last week, and I'm so excited, and that's because of you guys. I truly appreciate it. I've been looking at cameras. I promised you guys what I would do is once we got monetized, the money that we make, I'm going to put it back into the channel, because I've been filming with a cell phone. I've got like a cheap $20 microphone off of Amazon, but I want to get some better equipment so we can do more quality content for you guys. So thanks for watching. Until next time, happy gardening.